In this video, we're going to go over grid controls. Grid is basically this ground plane here. So the grid is the grid coordinate system that's going on here, this Cartesian plane, this XYZ axis. You want to control these because later on when you're modeling more complex objects in Maya, you're going to be using these grids. You might be making them larger, might make them smaller. And Maya has a default when it comes in, which you may or may not want to use. And you can change the way it looks. So it's very helpful. It's a very useful tool in Maya. So what you're going to do is, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go up. You can access grids from up here in the pull down menu. So in pull down menu, you can go here to grid, and then you can click on this button. This is an option box or a dialog box. So you can click on that and you'll get this grid options. See that there? And I'm going to close it. It's a regular window, so you can close it. And you can also access it from here, from the toolbar over here. So what we're going to do is the panel toolbar will allow you to access it here. So here you access it a little differently if you want to get to the controls. Here you can just switch it on and off. If I switch it back on, but if you want to access its controls, then you have to hit your right mouse button. Here we go. So hit grid options. So here's the same thing we got from the pull down. So in here, as you see, it has let me move this over here a little bit. And let me move the grid over. So I'm going to pan over with my Alt or Option key on my keyboard and my middle mouse button. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit with my right mouse button so you can see both at the same time. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this over here. You can see when I change the controls in here, you'll see what's going on. Okay, there we go. All right, so now you can see the layout of the grid here. And I might want to change the length and width of it. So right now it's set for 12 units. I might not want to have it 12. I might want to have it a whole number, like a 10 based. So I'm going to hit there. So you type in a number, or you can use that, or sometimes have tools where you can kind of slider bars. Okay, so then you always have to hit apply. Okay, so now you see, now it's gotten a little smaller. So let me zoom in a little further. Now we can zoom a bit more because I'm going to keep it at 10 units. Okay, so now it's set. But now I may want it like very clean looking. So I want it 10 by 10 units. Another thing too to mention in Maya's default scale and world is in the 10 base unit system, and it's basically a metric system. So, and it uses centimeters as its basic unit. You can change your units. You can change it to meters, you could change it to millimeters, you could change it to kilometers, you could change it to inches, you could change it to feet. Well, there's a whole bunch of units that you can use, but its default is in centimeters. So when you get Maya new, it's going to be centimeters. Not something to worry about right now, but in the future, scale and units will be important. So basically, using a 10 by 10 system is good because 10 is very easily divisible. So what I'm going to do now is I want it basically 10 by 10. So I'm going to type in a 10 here. Okay, and I'm going to type in, if I typed in 1, you'll see what happens. So I'm going to type in 1 and apply. Okay, so now the grid, this is the grid. These are the grid units. These are 10 by 10, and it has one subdivision. So I want smaller subdivisions in here. I want 1 centimeter subdivisions. So I would type in a 10 there. Okay, so I'm gonna hit that. There you go. So now I have a 10 centimeter grid size, and I have 1 centimeter subdivisions. So you can see that there. So you can just play around with these. You can scroll around with these numbers and change them how you like. And then if you ever get like you screw things up or you don't want to get back to how Maya should be, then you can go up here to reset settings. This is an all option box. You can always go to reset settings. Okay, so now that goes back to the original way I had it set up. Okay, so now if I want to change it back, I want to get back to what I had, I'm going to type in 10. This is very easy, 10. And I suggest this is what you do when you first start. Just set your whole scene up like this. Okay, there you go. Now you have a 10 by 10 by 10 grid system here. Okay, now there's a couple of things here you can do as well. We can change the colors of some of these. This dark line here, this is the axis. So you might want, maybe you need to have a scene where you need to see it a little better. So you might want to change it to like blue. Okay, so now you have a blue line there. You can change the look of some of the grid lines, like maybe you wanted them lighter. You can do stuff like that. So you can just play around with these things, see what you like. Again, if you ever get messed up, just go up to reset settings. I'm not going to reset everything, but I'm going to reset some of these colors here. Okay, I'm going to hit apply. And the one last thing I want to show is these, which are, you can put numbers. If you need to see numbers, well, I only have one number there. Let me actually change this a little bit. Then you can see it a little better. 2, 0. Okay. So now you see, now all of a sudden I have more numbers there because I've increased. So it's for every grid line, there's a unit. Okay, so if I typed in 50, you'll see, you'll start seeing many numbers here. Okay. And if you don't like that, you can also put them along the edges. Sometimes I like that better. Okay, so this is if you're doing more precision modeling. Let me zoom out a little bit, you can see all there. Okay. And as I said too, like if you want to just reset everything, you want to put back to exactly the way it was originally installed. You just hit reset settings. Okay, and then I can type F, zoom in, close this out. There you go. That's grid settings. Now, when you first start with, Maya, you may not be so, interested in grids, but later on they're going to be a very useful tool for you. So I definitely encourage you to use grids and definitely play around with them. Okay. On to the next lesson.